welcome to Mickey Guru Travel Talk with Christy, Gina, Eric, and Kyle. Let's sit back and chat about some magical destinations.
Hey there, and welcome to a very special episode of Mickey Guru Travel Talk.
I feel like we've been saying that a lot lately.
Well,
Right?
I know, right?
Yeah, right.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
I feel like we need one of those, like, what do they call those? The things on the bottom?
The little runner.
Yeah.
The stuff on her back.
Chiron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has, like, the things constantly, because I'm sure
and
it's still
teletype.
changing.
Yeah.
So we're coming to you about an hour, maybe hour and a half after Walt Disney World made their presentation to the Orange County Economic Recovery Task Force. Say that 3 times fast.
Right. That's a
Right.
mouthful.
And presented their plans for reopening Walt Disney World. It's important to note that as we're recording this, the mayor of Orange County has not yet approved this plan, and the governor of Florida has not yet approved this plan.
Right.
So it's still very much preliminary. But we figured we wanted to talk about it, and we thought maybe somebody would want to hear us talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Currently, the plan is. You
Right.
can say that.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
plan is ...
And I feel
Yeah.
like because they approved Universals, I feel like that this is going to be approved.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because theirs is actually a little bit more conservative.
Right.
So Disney is looking to open Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom on July 11th
Mm-hmm.
and Epcot and Hollywood Studios on July 15th. So that's more than a month away
Right.
from today because we're recording this on the 27th of May. So that gives them quite a bit of time to ramp up and do the stuff that they need to do.
Yeah.
And it gives folks a good opportunity to book their vacations now too, right?
So interestingly,
You can do that. You can do that.
Are there people in the room who can help book a vacation? Let's see.
Sure. We can
So
do that.
I will say that moments before we started recording, I got some more information, and I haven't even shared it with anybody. But I wrote it down that Disney has shut off all ticket sales and all resort bookings beginning July 11th right now
Okay.
because they are going to be controlling the crowds significantly. So
Mhm.
if you have a reservation already booked, it
Mhm.
appears that they're going to honor that reservation
Okay.
in some fashion,
Mhm.
but that you're not allowed to make new ones as of now. The only exception to that is Disney Vacation Club members can still make reservations.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
And the DVC resorts at Walt Disney World are scheduled to open on June 22nd for
Oh, wow.
members only.
Okay.
And then Vero Beach and Hilton Head actually going to open a little bit earlier on June 15th
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
members only.
Okay.
Yeah, and those are smaller venues too, so
Yeah.
smaller properties, so it's probably easier to manage.
Right.
Yeah. And then Bob Chapek was on CNBC. He's the new Bob.
The new Bob?
Right.
The new Bob.
in
Yeah,
I
town.
thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New Bob, same as the old Bob?
They were asking him about plans to have the NBA and apparently Major League Soccer
Oh, Major
Oh,
League
cool.
Soccer?
That would be
Soccer.
nice.
Oh, okay.
finish their seasons at Walt Disney World.
Mhm.
And I was just kind of listening, and then it caught my eye, so I had to listen like 3 or 4 more times. It caught my ear, not my eye.
Okay. Not your eye.
That this is a quote from him. The person asked him about, bringing guests back on property plus all of the production of the sports. And he said, even under the reopening situation, we have plenty of hotels that will not be reopening.
Ooh.
Okay.
Dun, dun,
Interesting.
dun.
So we already know it kind of leaked that Coronado's not opening
Right.
because that's where the
'Cause that's
NBA
where
is.
the
NBA.
gonna stay,
And I bet that's
supposedly.
where the whole
Yeah.
production crew and everything.
Yeah.
Like the players will probably get the tower, and the
Right.
Mhm.
production and the side staff and all that stuff will probably be out in the other areas of the building.
Yeah.
The
So
idea of having every NBA player in a single hotel, though, is a little crazy.
A little risky, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
Well,
I actually hadn't thought about it until just now, as
and
you were mentioning
it
that.
sounds like they're going to do the same with soccer. I don't know where they're going, but
Mhm.
they would probably want
Yeah.
to keep them all together too, because they're trying to eliminate contact between the outside world and them.
Well, it's
Right.
NBA soccer. They're going to put the soccer team at All-Star Sports.
No.
If you look based on who makes more money,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
NBA
Well,
players.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I think soccer's got a, I don't
got
know.
a
I think
huge
it's
international
got a
following.
huge international. Yeah.
Although MLS, I'm not sure how much MLS has international. That's the
That's true.
The
Yeah.
US.
I think the
soccer,
games
so.
they play over with the games that they play with people like teams in England and stuff
Yeah.
are all like invitational
Oh,
type
okay.
games and
I
stuff.
didn't realize that wasn't part of their circuit.
Because that's really where the big money in soccer is
Oh, yeah.
international.
International,
obviously,
right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
so-
Here we have a football soccer team that.
So what else we got?
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
It doesn't really
Yeah, we're
matter.
going to go
Nobody
down that
Yeah.
rat hole. Nobody
Right.
cares about that.
We'll have a program about soccer some
yeah,
other
there
day.
you go.
Right.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Doubtful, really.
Doubtful, really.
Well, it depends
But-
We could have Maddie's boyfriend on. He plays soccer.
All right. So when they released the details of how they're going to reopen this morning, they kind of had to lay out their safety protocols and stuff. Is there anything that they said that was surprising to you, or you were comforted by, or?
I will say I was comforted by the whatever that squad's called. What did he call it?
The
The name?
social distancing squad.
Yeah, this social distancing squad. It sounds campy and cheesy, but I actually,
I think it'll be cool, actually.
well, I got some comfort from that because those are people that are specifically walking around looking for that, looking for people not wearing their masks, not doing what the responsible thing is to do. And that's the piece of this puzzle that really kind of I worried about, because it's like, how do you control Joe Schmo out there who says, okay, fine, I'll put my mask on to get in the gate, but I'm not wearing it once I get in.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I really didn't want to have to see attraction cast members have to police how people are doing in line and,
Be distracted.
and be distracted by, the,
operations of the rides and stuff.
Sure,
the normal,
exactly.
Normal procedures.
so I really like the idea of this squad going around. Sounds like they're going to try to be merry about it
Mhm.
and, have some fun with it and that kind of stuff, but also keep people in check. That really, for whatever reason, that
Maybe it's the
It's
streets of
comforted
Hollywood
me.
folks, and they've trained them.
yeah, exactly.
That would be awesome, actually. I think they could probably do that a little bit,
Oh, sure, they could.
I'd be super excited if they used stormtroopers at Hollywood Studios.
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome? You're not wearing your
Put
mask.
your mask on.
Oh, they totally could do it.
well,
Just go the total opposite direction instead of being all happy and cheery about just
Yeah.
like screaming at people and berating them. Like,
pointing guns.
right?
So a friend of mine
Put
was
your mask
at,
on.
a friend of mine was at Disney Springs earlier this week,
Mhm.
and she was saying that they have that squad, although she didn't know that was the
Mhm.
name of it,
Right.
and that they are dressed like those recreation cast members at the pools, like with
Right.
the bright yellow.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And she said that she happened upon them actually right outside Deluxe or Deluxe Burger, however you
Oh,
say
okay.
that.
Yep.
Mhm.
And they were doing a cheer.
Okay.
So, and they were like really far apart, but they were like literal cheerleaders
Yeah.
talking about washing your hands, keeping your distance, like
That
all
makes
of that.
That makes
Right.
a lot of sense because those people are, I guess they're trained. Well, they'll be trained specifically for the COVID, but those people are trained also to do their jobs, which is
Yeah.
to entertain at the pools.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
right.
that's
Well,
a
they're just
great,
happy people
Yeah,
by
that's a
nature.
great point.
Right.
So, the other thing I just
Hey,
thought about
you.
too.
Back it up. Back it up. Hey, you. Back it up. Back it up.
That's awesome.
I can see it coming.
Yeah, good
It's gonna
point.
happen.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of possible like kid shaming, not them shaming the kids, but the kids shaming the parents of,
Yeah.
if they're being all happy and
point.
jovial about it and they're really getting the kids into it, then the kids can turn to mom and dad and say, well, why aren't you wearing your mask? What's going on? Why,
Good point.
we need to stand back.
Good point.
We've seen plenty of parents who should be shamed at the park. So yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
Right.
great.
Exactly.
I've seen them at the grocery store, but whatever.
Really. They can't follow the direction at the grocery store.
Well,
Yeah.
Chrissy, I think
Yeah.
you were going to say something about this, but that point was even made. That was even a specific question, part of a specific question
Yeah.
from one of the council members or somebody on one of the advisory boards was, what would be the repercussions? What was Disney and Universal? They asked both. What were you going to do about people who won't adhere to the rules or who are not going to follow the rules? And Disney's response basically was, kind of a read between the lines, but it was, it is a requirement.
Yeah.
It's a requirement.
And
That's all
he said
that
we're
was said.
using strong language.
Yeah. It's a requirement, which I read in between the lines as, well, if they get belligerent, they're out of the park.
Yeah.
Sorry, you got to leave. So
I'd go a step farther. Lifetime ban. You're done.
Right.
That's it.
the yellow slip.
Yep. This is a no screwing around situation. We've got people here. This is a safety issue. No, you're done.
Yep.
You either play by the rules or you don't. And if you don't, you don't get to come back.
So I think you're right about the read between the lines thing, because when I first heard it, I thought to myself, I like black and white.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted him to say it's required or you'll be told to leave.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't go that far, but then it's asking Disney to be a hard ass, and that's not what they do.
Yeah, it's not what they do. And I mean, technically, I think the definition of a requirement is that it's a requirement. You do it or you don't do it.
Right.
Right.
And so
you don't, there's repercussions.
Yeah.
Don't do it means go away.
Yeah. So I think you're right. The fact that they said it as Disneyfied as they could.
Yeah.
But he was like, it's very strong language. This isn't a choice kind of a thing, which is good. And
made me feel good.
I get that people have unique needs and all of that. And I don't want to be disrespectful to them. Yeah. But I think in this initial phase, they need to make a rule and stick to it. It just needs to happen that way.
Right.
Well,
I agree.
Because you don't get to be disrespectful to the other people that are there that are following the rules. Yeah. Right.
Well,
so
and I think that's
the way it goes.
That's their whole point of that things you need to know before you go campaign is that you need to know you're going to be wearing a mask. So if you have big issues with that or you can't handle that, then you don't need to come because that's the requirement.
Right.
Again, the requirement. Read between.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It is required.
So the other requirement that I think we all kind of expected might happen, but they did say is that there will be a reservation system to be able to say whether or not you're going to get into the park, much like a fast pass, although they haven't yet shown us what it looks like.
Yeah.
But it's basically, I'm imagining they're going to have X number of spots at the Magic Kingdom that day. So your family of 4, if you want to go, you need to get on, register, and get your essential boarding pass to go along with your ticket. And that's how you'll gain access. Bob did make a comment on CNBC that Shanghai opened with less than 30% capacity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But that was in part mandated by the government over there, whereas we in the United States don't have that.
Right.
So what they did was, and they're not announcing the percentage for Walt Disney World.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they don't ever want people to know what the capacity is.
I think that's honestly.
They always do that.
I think that's what it is.
Right,
yeah.
because they never talk capacity numbers.
Yep, no
but
numbers.
he said that it is based entirely on the need to keep at least 6 feet between parties. So they've done the math, which thank God I didn't have to do that.
Right.
I had trouble with a whole lot of math.
That would be some heavy math.
Yeah. And then, I think he said that that's how they came up with the number, and that will be the way it is for the near future.
Yeah. That's what AutoCAD's for.
Oh, okay.
They probably got that answer really quick.
Here's the map. Here's how big it is.
Bam.
Here's how big a person is.
Right.
Here you go.
Anyway.
So they also aren't doing parades and fireworks and shows that would have people gathered in large numbers. So, which I was kind of disappointed about that. There was a little bitty part of me that was hoping that they would bring back Wishes or something that was very fireworks centric and play it after the park had closed. So if you were in the surrounding areas, you could see it. But, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. It seems like it when I first heard this, the list of things like the parades and those group gatherings or those group attractors, I was kind of like, because it seemed to me that's a big part of Disney,
Yeah.
It's a big part to me, at least.
Yeah, and the character meets aren't going to be happening for the time being either, and that's another big thing that people go and enjoy.
Yeah.
So
does that mean no character dining either?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
sure not.
Yeah. Could you imagine the characters would be the perfect vector for spreading it?
Yeah, that's true.
So
on their costumes and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at this and you break it down, the reopening and everything, it has to happen at some point. People need to start making their way back into the park. But for the next who knows how long.
Right.
This is not first-time visitor territory.
No.
Right. This
Good
is
point.
really, this is really going to be the people who are, high affinity Disney, Disney people that feel the need to, be there and experience it again because they've missed out on it for, a number of
6
months now.
Right.
Well, I mean, I haven't been there in 6 months.
Yeah. And it's not going to be that first-time visitor
Yeah.
We haven't been there.
stuff.
I know. Poor me.
Because you are
Right.
going to miss out on that stuff. And that's not,
Yeah, and I think that makes a whole lot of sense. That if you're have never been, fireworks are huge, and the
Yeah.
character
Right.
meets. And I mean, if you're going to the first time and you can't meet Mickey, like
right. Yeah.
That's-
Like
Yeah.
at that point,
they
You're
did
missing
say
out
that
on
the
a
characters
big
would
part
be
of it.
making appearances in different ways. So kind of like Shanghai, where they have them like waving to you from the train station, like
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. So you'd still see them,
You'd
but
still
it's
see
still
them.
very different.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
not even close.
Even if you put them behind a golden rope or something in an area where people could
Plexiglass.
see them and stuff.
A little Pope mobile that could
Right.
ride around through the
Yes.
park.
Well, they have Mickey.
And Mickey's on the back
They have
of
Mickey
it.
in the snow globe.
The
You
globe.
know?
Yeah,
Right.
They probably still got the globe, right? They can use that.
yeah.
The problem with that is then you get groups of people forming.
Right.
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 And when that happens, that's what they're trying to avoid, and that's a thing.
And we know people lose their minds when they see characters.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
they're
like,
gonna
oh my
completely
gosh,
forget
Donald.
about everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
So again, that's why I'm kind of thinking it's not going to be your first timers. To be all your people that have been there and done that and needed to go back.
Well, I think it's going to be a whole lot of locals. If the resorts aren't opening back up, all the
That's a good
resorts
point.
aren't
Yeah.
opening up and
Yeah.
stuff, where are people staying? I think it's going to be more, obviously, you can always stay off property. But still.
See, I have a gut feeling, and I feel like this is not based on anything I've read yet, but I feel like you're going to see Disney Vacation Club members.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see people that already had reservations, because there are quite a few people that have been holding on until Disney then
Right.
has been canceling them. So there's
Mhm.
people that are booked for July. And I think, possibly pass holders to a certain degree,
Mhm.
but I think that's how they're going to control it.
Yeah.
It's going to control itself in the fact that, kind of like what we're going to talk about coming up is the idea of who's going to go and who's going to stay.
Right.
That is
Yeah.
going to do a lot of that. They're just going to have to set the capacity for each park based on what it needs to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Well, it just occurred to me that another aspect of it is I could imagine that they would really turn away. I don't know what the numbers are. Of course, Disney does, but they would turn away the folks who are, the impromptu, visitors who come in. They don't use My Disney Express. They literally buy
Yeah.
tickets at the ticket booth because people still do that.
Still
you see
do
it.
that,
You
yeah.
still-
Yeah.
So those are the people that I wonder if Disney will just automatically shut off.
Well, they won't know to have their boarding ticket to be able to get into a park.
Exactly.
Well,
But, or Disney could be reserving a small portion, a certain percentage of those they would
Yeah.
allow in. I don't know, to serve that need. But I'm sorry, I cut you off, Christy.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say, but they've decided they're not selling any more tickets for that time
That's
period.
true. Good point.
Mhm.
So that's going to clear that
Eliminate that. Yeah.
piece too.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
obviously at some point they're going to say, okay, now we're going to start selling tickets and you can book your day of reservation kind of thing. I just don't know how long this phase is going to last, and I don't think anybody does.
No.
At least until a vaccine is a truly effective.
I don't know about
vaccine is
that.
available. Well, at a certain time after that, of course, because they have to let it, get distributed.
No, I think they'll open it up. I think they will relax it some more later in the summer.
they'll relax
or
some
so
more. You're right.
after they see how it all goes. I think they will slowly,
Yeah.
very slowly increase
Yeah.
capacity.
I was thinking about, when they're closer to what we're, normal, when
Yeah.
they get closer to that level or that operational state, it'll be, there'll have to be a vaccine available.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing you'll see too is if they haven't already, they're going to have viral people on staff. What do they call them? Epidemiologists.
Mhm.
They'll have
Absolutely.
people on staff that will be, either if not talking about it externally, obviously planning for what's going to happen and how this plays out, in the future. So,
Mhm.
they're preparing for that.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what they do. So,
Well, and the interesting thing is, like, they talked about social distancing, and obviously when you're standing in line, that there's going to be lines on the ground so that you're going to know where to stand with your group. But the thing that I think is going to be fascinating to look at is they're going to be arranging your ride vehicles that way
accordingly, right?
Mhm.
So, like, we always would ride ever single rider because we're like,
Right.
here's who we're sitting next to. No
Yeah.
more single rider lines; those are going to be completely gone.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can ride with your family and be together, but they're going to have how many rows
There'll be a
in
space between you and
Right.
the other people. One of the things I found interesting, I remember this when they were opening Shanghai, they interviewed people and they asked them, would you rather have a line where to stand or a space where not to stand? And they all said they wanted a space and a marker where not to stand.
Where not to stand, yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
so what they did is they put these large square or round stickers on the ground in the line queues that was like, do not stop here. You have to move to the next spot, the
That's
next
a great,
empty space.
that's a
Go
great
past this,
thing.
go
Yeah.
past this.
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
But it sounds like they're not doing that here. It sounds like they're doing the, here's where you stand.
Yeah.
Like, it's a different.
I don't
it's a
know if
different
that's
piece.
the
No.
case.
I know at Disney Springs, like we watched a video of somebody that was going through the entrance and stuff of Disney Springs, and they had the "Do not stand here" big, large
good.
rectangles.
All right, so probably
Yeah.
the same
Good.
thing that they were doing
Good.
in Shanghai then.
Right.
Okay.
Which makes sense too. I never even thought about that, because if you guys are going and you're standing in line with the four of you,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need 6 feet between the four of you. Like
Exactly.
the four of you stay
Right.
together. So the
Yep.
line, I mean, if you had to do 6 feet between people, it would be
Yeah.
even more insane. But
Yeah.
that way, like you could stand here and just not get any closer.
Yeah.
Gina and I were talking a little bit before, while we were actually watching the presentations this morning, and it occurred to me, as I got to think about it, you know what? I completely lost my train of thought.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh!
The train has left the
The
station.
train has left the station.
station.
I know what I was going to say. We've talked about, we've had, I think, Revelations even as we've talked. And I told Gina earlier that I bet Disney has planned the kernel of these concepts like really early. And I would guess that a huge part of what they're doing right now is training the actual cast members.
Yeah.
Because it is it's a complex plan, and it's to implement this. I just speculation on my part, but I'm betting that there's a lot of training going on.
Yeah.
A lot. That's Disney's way. You know what I mean? They are cast members, they are actors, and so they have to act accordingly.
Right.
And I could see them all at work right now. I wish we had an inside scoop. I wish we had a work program or a college program person to talk to. They're probably busy.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they've called them back yet.
Yeah, they wouldn't do the college folks for sure.
Right.
No, but I had mentioned last night, we had a meeting of agents last night, and I mentioned that a friend of mine lives down near there, and he and his wife drive the property like daily just to check out what's going on. So they're always like, hey, this construction is moving again, or that's not, or whatever. And he said that earlier this week, the parking lot at Riviera was jam-packed. Like,
there you go.
Jam-packed. And there was some conversation that they were suggesting that some of the cast members might be staying there because if they are in an environment where they may be exposed to things, they don't necessarily want to go home to their families.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, why would you pick Riviera? But maybe it's because it's gorgeous and they wanted to reward them with that. But all right.
Interesting.
So let's talk about whether or not we would go. Now that we have a date, and it's July 11th, that at least 2 of the parks open, who wants to go?
Me.
Changed my mind, actually, I think, after seeing a presentation.
Really?
Yeah, and
I'm surprised.
after what we've been talking about and stuff, I think Disney's very serious about this. And,
Yeah.
and it would, of course, I think, take away from it. It's going to be a different experience. And I even thought personally, I'm like, well, how much anxiety is this going to cause for me? Because right now, if I go into a place where it's crowded and there's a lot of people who like going into Sam's, Gina and I went into Sam's, we literally, well, it doesn't sound crazy, not under the circumstances.
Right.
We could only stay there for so long, and then we were just like, we started getting anxious.
Yeah.
And it was antsy, we were like, okay, let's just go. We got what we got. Let's get out of here, and we left. So that occurred to me too while we were watching this presentation. But as they got through the presentation, it was very professional, very, very, very detailed, even within the time frame. Very detailed. I felt much better. I was like, okay, maybe I don't think I would be so
This
anxious.
is certainly not haphazard on their part.
No,
It's not.
no,
It's
not
not
at
a
all.
plan that they have just thrown together lightly.
Yeah.
I think they have put a lot of thought and effort
So-
into it. So,
I'm going. Well,
well,
not
we don't
until-
have a reservation,
not
so
until
we're not
August or
going.
September or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Well, what about
guys?
you guys?
Yeah, I know somebody that's got a pretty strong opinion on this.
So before I let him talk, I'm going to say we do
You
have
have
They
a
a
don't get like a
reservation.
cookie. They get
Right.
like a little, like pass
Right.
to be able to talk before you're allowed to talk. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll sit there.
Just eat your little butter cookie
Well, we're all
and
together.
drink your Kool-Aid.
I think the three of us are all together, so that makes sense. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that we do have a reservation.
Right?
That's true.
Strangely enough, on July 11th.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, our flight is on July 11th,
Well, that's cool.
and we have a reservation at Riviera that night.
I'm gonna go. We'll go with her.
Right.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
We were supposed to then go on a cruise after that, and then come home and spend 2 nights at Vero Beach. The cruise has been canceled, and I will tell you, as much as I love cruising, I'm definitely
that
good with
one-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
don't
would be
blame
good
you.
with that too. No, no,
I'm
no
ready
cruising.
to
yet.
wait,
Cruising yet.
and I'm sure when it's their time, they're going to be ready, and we'll feel better about all
Sure.
of that.
Right. Yeah.
Right now, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no thanks.
hmm
But as of watching the Disney thing today and seeing their plans and understanding that the fact that I can't meet Mickey this time, fine.
Yeah.
The fact that I could go and stay at a really nice resort and, I could go to the parks for a couple hours, check things out, and then go back to my resort. Like,
Mhm.
all of that made me feel like I would go.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I wasn't feeling that way, honestly, like
I
3 or 4
wasn't.
days ago.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
in
I knew
previous
y'all-
episodes we'd already asked the question, and I
Yeah.
plainly stated absolutely not.
Yeah, I knew
Yeah,
you
I
weren't.
expected you to say that. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
we're going to have 2 and 2 when we start
Right.
to have this conversation.
Yeah,
But I don't want to talk for you because
Yeah.
I was gonna say I was looking for a little like assistance there, but apparently I'm not going to get it.
well, surprise us. Why don't you surprise us?
Perfectly okay being out on my own island because what the hell.
Yeah.
So here's my concern with the whole thing. Nothing's really changed. In reality, nothing has changed. There is no vaccine.
Mhm.
There is nothing new. Sure, you can put things in place where, hey, people got to wash their hands. You got to put a mask on. You got to do that, right? The little that I do know about the epidemiology piece of this and the masks that are available to most people are not the 95% masks. They're, different options. And, little kids are still going to sneeze all over their hands and wipe it on railings and touch things and do stuff. And things, although they're going to look different, this virus and this viral strain hasn't gone away, right? This thing
Right.
didn't just disappear just because we want to, keep the economy moving forward and get everything back up and going. It hasn't changed, right?
That's true.
This is still a thing that's out there. You are taking a risk
Mhm.
if you decide to go and do this, right? You're putting yourself in with a large group of people,
Yep.
even though they're going to be spread out 6 feet apart. People cough, sneeze, do all kinds of things while they're on rides, kick, scream, and everything else, right? Do I think Disney's going to do the best job they can possibly do at making sure that it doesn't get out of control? Absolutely.
Mhm.
Does it mean that nobody's going to get sick? No, it
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah,
People
you're
will
right.
still get sick.
Mhm.
We've caught viruses while we were down there in the past.
Yeah,
Right.
we've all been in flu season, and
Yeah, we've
somebody,
been in flu season. We caught the norovirus one year when we were down there.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
that
right.
was bad.
And that was
Yeah.
bad enough.
Mhm.
So for me, and it's tough because we own a travel agency, right? And I'm not telling other people not to go, but I'm not ready to go yet.
And pause
Sure.
that. And we're also not telling people to go.
To go.
to
Right.
go
Or
or
stay
not to
home.
go anything else, right? I'm just
Yeah.
It's
my
what
own
you're
opinion on it.
comfortable with and
Yeah,
what your
exactly.
family's
It's-
tolerance is.
It's a risk-benefit analysis, basically.
Just know that whatever we can help you, we're ready to help you.
Yeah, absolutely. And
And that may mean for some people rescheduling a summer trip. And for other people, it might be, let
Just
me know
answer.
the moment I can book.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or just asking questions and getting answers. I think you guys would be good with that.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we're here doing the podcast now. Your phone's off. You don't know. You could be ringing off the hook right now, right? Because people do want to go back, and people are interested in going back.
Right.
Yeah.
For me, there's just a couple other factors that I can't get past yet, and I want to sit and ride that out a little bit.
Fair enough.
The family thing is the most important to me. You guys know that. I mean, that's my family is more important than a trip, than leaving to do something that's for me. We'll go back when we can go back, and when it's completely safe to go back, as much as completely safe is, right?
Right. I was going to say,
Like you said,
it's never completely safe.
There's still flu season. There's other viruses that come and go, and everything else happens, and it's a sea of people down there. It's a thing, and they're going to do the best job they can. And it's why I said they're going to have epidemiologists on staff, and they're going to have people looking at this and researching this and trying to figure it out. Not a whole lot has changed yet on that side of it for me. At least not enough for me to be, yes, let's hurry up and get down there.
I do feel like with every day that goes by, we learn more and more about it and how it functions and how it operates and stuff. So I do feel like we are at a different place than we were 2 months ago, where we really didn't know anything about this,
And
this
where
virus.
it was rampant.
Right,
It was
exactly.
rampant.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still a risk. It's absolutely still a risk. But to me, they've done a really good job at sequestering that risk as much as they possibly can. And at some point, living life, it is a risk.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm not here to dissuade Eric from it.
No,
like anybody
I'm not
else.
either. No, I'm just
feeling.
saying my side. Christy, I'm trying to help a sister here now. Come on.
This is why I get to do that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Well, the other thing is too, for us, it requires a flight or two.
Right.
Oh,
Right? It's not like you can just get in the car and drive down.
Good thought.
So
Well, you can. You could.
I've done that drive.
And you could stop over in North Carolina.
I was going to say, we stopped in North Carolina on the one time we drove from Florida back up here. We stopped in North Carolina.
Selma.
We're a little bit out of the way. But
Went to Shoney's.
You get strawberry pie?
We did not get strawberry pie. We got sweet tea.
The lady
That
was
was
like,
the first time I'd ever had sweet tea.
Oh, really?
Wow.
because we don't have that up here.
We don't have sweet tea.
But and then this is off the topic, but we got to Selma, North Carolina, went into the Shoney's, and the woman goes, now excuse my accent, but the woman goes, y'all want some sweet tea? He looks at me, he goes, what did she just say?
What are those words she put together?
I was like, don't worry, I got this. I lived in the South for 18 months in junior high.
Yeah.
He wants to know if he wants some sweet tea.
I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night.
I got this. I can speak this language.
That may have actually been a Holiday Inn that we stayed at, actually, now that I think about it. But,
that's funny.
yeah, I never felt more like a Northerner than I did that night.
I bet.
Yeah.
Wow, this is crazy.
So yeah, there is the flight.
I mean, there's
which I did save $100 today when I looked at the flights to see that they were cheaper on the way down. So
because you stayed at a Holiday Inn too, right?
Yeah, because flights.
So Eric, would you let Christy and Allie go?
No.
And you?
Let's be real clear, Eric.
All right.
This has been a great
Kyle and I are going to
conversation.
duck on out of this
Let's
conversation.
be real clear. He doesn't let me do anything. Right. Now, we do make decisions regarding, the family and the health of the family together.
Sure.
Right.
But, because I wanted to have this conversation, have it be as real as possible, we haven't even begun.
This is as real as it gets.
Yeah.
We haven't begun the negotiation. So I've had my public say.
Right. And there are also extenuating circumstances. Right. Beyond just the wanting to go.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Right.
yeah.
There's
There's
time, money.
Money, health issues, all kinds of things.
Risk benefit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So you have to look at the big picture. It can't be one of those just, I want to go, it's open, I'm going.
Yeah.
Now, some people will do that. And they're, right?
Jeez.
Some people will do that, and that's fine for them as long as they've thought it through and they're making their decisions for themselves and their family, and good for them.
Yeah.
But for me and mine, I just have a different point of view.
Well,
I would be down there
Fair
knocking on the door July 11th if I could.
Right?
Well, and I think that
There may be a room available.
Can we just change names on the room?
there we go. We might. I don't know. I definitely, as I started to listen to the meeting and kind of process it and looked at stuff, I started from a place of, I'm not going, I don't care when it is. And then I feel like it was divine intervention when they said July 11th, because I already had a flight and a room that day.
Right.
I was like, I think this is...
Yeah, that's one word for it.
I think this is the universe telling me that this is time.
Right. I can see that.
Yeah.
Taking a big
I don't
jump
think
on
that
me.
really goes in your risk-benefit analysis,
But
Christy. You can't
We
do that.
really need
That's not how that
somebody
works.
on the ground that first day taking video. And I mean, it
Yeah, good point.
would be good if somebody could take it for the team and do
Call
that.
Wolf Blitzer or somebody. Throw him out there.
Got your camera right here,
Who's
Christy.
the, who's the weather guy? How about we throw one of the weather guys
Jim
out
Cantor.
there?
Oh, Jim Cantor.
Yeah, throw him out there. Give him
funny.
a hazmat suit and let him stand out there. And
I
see you
will
do
say,
it.
like, I am well known for getting my way.
Jamaica.
Yes.
Hang on to quote the great Forky. What? No.
But this is definitely something that, at least as of right this moment, it's not a hill I'm willing to die on.
Yeah, this is
Right.
a bigger. This is
Sure.
a bigger thing.
This
Yeah.
is going to
This
be a
is-
real
this is bigger
thoughtful
than-
kind of thing.
Hmm.
And I don't feel, and this is funny, like my first thought was, well, somebody has to go and we, go down and do that
Technically,
thing.
no, but sure, I
Well,
know what you
but
said.
then I said-
Technically, no.
You need
And
to
then
find a DVC person that wants to rent some points.
There you go.
Oh, we know some DVC people, don't we?
We do. We need
Yeah.
to talk to them.
I think that, like, I think the idea that this is a health concern is different than anything else. Like, I could,
Right.
under most circumstances, maybe not right now, I could find money for something.
Yeah.
Not right now.
How are you doing that?
That's what I said, not right now. In a normal year, I could just be like,
Sure.
I can find enough money.
Right.
Or you're willing to get the flu. You're like, okay, I'll get the flu. As stupid as it sounds, there are people who
Yeah.
are going to go who don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, you know what? It's just the flu. I'll go. I don't care. If I get it, I'm fine. I'm healthy. I'm young,
Right.
whatever. That's stupid.
Yeah.
But, because it can kill you, as we all know.
Right.
Anybody.
Hey, my mom's doing better, by the way. She has gone 24 hours fever-free. Woohoo!
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah,
Good.
she's still getting very tired very quickly. But I think she's made it past the hump.
Yeah.
So-
In our experience, we know how long with my mother. We know how
Yeah.
long
That
how
is-
the side effects they last.
They last a long
Long
time.
time.
I would say that Kyle's mom still is
Yeah.
having issues from it.
Yeah.
She
Wow.
still does not feel like her energy level is back up to where it was before.
See, here's where the part of me that this comes in, though.
Mhm.
If I can get it just by going to the grocery store,
Right?
I am going on Splash Mountain, man, and I am going to go down in style.
Yeah.
Because if
See,
I
that's
could get it
that's
from
kind of my
Amazon-
thought process too, Christy. I'll be honest with you. I feel like it's actually more dangerous going to Home Depot. Our Home Depot is not doing anything.
Yeah.
Like the employees are not even wearing masks,
Yeah.
much less the patrons of it. So,
But it's a time thing too, though.
So,
but
So
I'm not going
to-
to be in contact really with anybody
Right, I
for
realize
very long at Walt Disney World.
True. Anyway.
right. But to sync up with that, we've avoided going anywhere like Home Depot, right? We're not going. I'm going to wait, or I'm going to order it online and have it delivered. And just have them leave it out at the doorstop, right? Because I don't. We're avoiding that as much as possible.
True.
And also, she doesn't go to the grocery store. I do. So you're not going to catch it from the grocery store. I'm going to catch it from
I
the
hope
But
grocery
then
store.
she's going to catch it from you.
Right.
So, I mean, she might as well go
Hey,
because you're going.
That's the way it works.
That's how it goes.
That's how it
That's
goes.
how it spreads.
All right, guys. I think
We
I
beat a
think
dead
we've,
horse.
I think we've sufficiently discussed this for what we know now.
Right.
Definitely, check our social media out. We'll be putting up information as it changes. And then also you can reach out to Gina, and her email address is gina@mickyguru.com, or
Yep.
me Christy, Kristy, at mickyguru.com.
I was going to say, just so you know, Christy, I've changed my mind about going to Disney. I've also changed my mind about Facebook, at least for now. And so I'm back on the Facebook. So.
Oh,
wow. What is happening?
I don't know, man. It's the staying inside. I need contact.
Finally need something else to do.
He needs somebody else to talk to besides me.
Even if it's it's typing on the keyboard.
Right.
So yeah, I'm back on the Facebook. Even the messenger too. I installed it on my phone. But,
oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there goes my battery. Yeah, there goes my battery.
Yeah, right.
Let's see how long it lasts, because I was ready to throw my phone out the window this morning before I even got out of bed because some of the stuff I was seeing. But
just keep watching Disney stuff. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
In fact, I tweeted out at Disney Plus on a regular asking them to bring Bear in the Blue House back.
Awesome.
Have you watched there's Zenmation? Have you watched that yet?
No.
It's really cool, and it is very. It's supposed to help with mindfulness.
Yeah.
Oh, that thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw that was posted. We haven't watched it yet.
It is. It's really relaxing. I watched the first one, which is all about water, Christy.
You did
so I thought about you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
I haven't seen
I'll
that.
have to go watch that.
Yeah.
I also sent a tweet to them and asked for more Forky Has a Question, because that makes me happy.
Right.
Yeah.
And I figure Forky should have lots of questions.
He should have a lot of questions.
We need that right now too.
Yeah.
What's an epidemiologist?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
Oh, all right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this quick hit up episode. Let us know in the comments or send us a message and let us know what your thoughts are, whether you feel like you're ready to go down or if you want to wait. And remember, Gina and I are absolutely here when you're ready. Disney's not going anywhere, and neither are we. So you decide when's best for your family to travel, and you always will have a friend in us. I just pulled that
great.
Wow.
Right out of the sky. You just pulled that down.
Yeah,
That's where
that was great.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so TTFN.
Bye.
Safe travels, everybody.
Bye, everyone.